biggest misconceptions about narcissists is that narcissists are people who love themselves. It is actually the exact opposite. Narcissism is a representation and manifestation of deeply rooted insecurity. Moreover, clinical description of narcissism is a pathological insecurity. Narcissists are chronically vulnerable people with fragile egos who constantly feel threatened and who constantly need validation to offset that insecurity. It is sort of malignant overcompensation. What we see externally and what we call high self esteem is nothing more than just a shell and an accurate self assessment. When we talk about narcissists, we typically characterize them by lack of empathy, entitlement, validation seeking, hypersensitivity, contempt, arrogance, grandiosity, superficiality, interpersonal antagonism, and they are usually self unaware people with really poor emotional regulation. So, as you can see, narcissism has nothing to do with self love, nor love at all. In order to better understand and be able to recognize a narcissistic behavior, let's break it down into five basic behavioral sections: interpersonal, behavioral, dysregulation, antagonistic, and cognitive. Interpersonal negative patterns are the most hurtful. They indicate poor boundaries and they leave us confused, sad, helpless. They make us doubt ourselves and drop our self esteem. They potentially could raise our anxiety and social withdrawal. The behavior aspect of a narcissist relates to a visible pattern that indicates actions and attitudes, like the way narcissists carry themselves, how they look, dress, things they buy, and where they live. The dysregulation aspect reflects on the emotional part of narcissistic behavior. Because narcissists are pathologically insecure people, and because they are chronically feeling under threat, they are unable to regulate their emotions and constantly remain in a denial and projection mode. Because of that, they're not coping well with the stress, and it's really easy to set them off. The antagonistic aspect of the narcissistic behavior basically underlines the typical behavior of a middle school bully. These behavior patterns are usually threatening, passive aggressive, arrogant, vindictive, entitled, exploitative, and schadenfreude. Schadenfreude is experience of pleasure, joy, or self-satisfaction that comes from learning or witnessing the trouble, failure, or humiliation of others. Narcissistic cognitive patterns indicate distorted thinking, where they think often that what they think is right and everyone else is wrong. Narcissists regulate their self esteem from outside in. They basically compensate their insecurities at the expense of others. This is the reason why they're often called energetic vampires. However, it is worth mentioning that they don't target everyone. They categorize people by those who they target and those they can use. Those people they can use, they keep close at hand. This part makes things complicated because those people they keep close in hand get always surprised, and you can often hear remarks like, I don't understand, he was always so nice to me. The truth is, if they would target everyone, they would become social outcasts and simply would not survive. People they target usually vulnerable part of their society. It could be someone with low self-esteem, people who for some reason are unable to stand up for themselves, or people who somehow depend on the narcissistic person. Most of us know what narcissists are. They're also known in our society as assholes, toxic people, jerks, difficult, poisonous, mean, manipulative, yet at some point we end up welcoming them into our life. So what happens? The truth is that anyone can fall into a narcissistic trap. Narcissists are usually very charming people, confident, charismatic, assertive, most likely successful and smart. It is easy to fall for the charisma. In the beginning, it could be such a pleasure to be in their presence. They often appear to be pillars of the communities, leaders, public figures, or successful businessmen. We have been taught that all of these qualities are signs of strength and security, right? Wrong. The truth is that psychologically healthy people could be a little shy. They show emotions and they don't afraid to show signs of nervousness or frustration. This is at least shows the transparency, genuineness, and openness. Absolute confidence, on the other hand, could mean inaccurate self-assessment, or that they rehearse their behavior and responses, or even worse, that they do not feel anything at all. Absolute confidence, my friends, could be a red flag. Now, I'm not saying that all confident people are narcissistic or sociopath. What I'm saying is proceed with caution. If it seems too good to be true, most likely it is. The second red flag is narcissists love talking about themselves and brag about their accomplishments. And yes, most of us do, but psychologically healthy people with genuine confidence are usually modest, restrained, or quiet about their abilities. They usually express their desire to learn about other people, their skills, experiences, opinions, and perspectives. And you naturally feel at ease when you're around those people. Narcissists, on the other hand, start to yawn, check the phone, or act like you don't even exist by pretending to be too busy. The last aspect that worth mentioning here, and the most important aspect that matters the most in any relationship, is how this person makes you feel. It really doesn't matter how amazing this person is, how charming or how hot and sexy he or she is, not that their money or in success. What matters the most is how this person makes you feel. Ignoring your own feelings is a perfect way to end up in a negative relationship. This is why we even have negative feelings. There are signs that screaming, hey, you're moving in the wrong direction. So, yeah, always consider yourself and your feelings. And this is one of the main reasons why people get on the hook with narcissists. They ignore their own feelings. This is usually people with poor boundaries, insecurities, people with a low sense of self and lack of self love, or people who normally end up in a relationship with a narcissist. I know it sucks to hear, but without knowing the problem, you will never learn and improve. If you're already in a relationship with narcissist, the only thing you can do is to leave. Do not try to fix a narcissist. The narcissist is the personality disorder that is not treatable. You cannot fix a narcissist. The only thing you can do is leave. Sometimes it's not easy to leave a narcissist. Sometimes people have to change their phone numbers and do crazy stuff to get away from those motherfuckers. But leaving is the best thing you can do. Narcissism is a very large and complex subject, and it is impossible to summarize all of its twists and turns in 10 minutes video. I try to include the most important aspects of narcissism here, and I hope you found it useful. If you want to learn more about narcissists, I would recommend you to read these books. And as always, thank you for watching.